1, 2, 3, 4. Chop, chop, chop.
It's cure of the what now?
Gather the ingredients.
Cure of the what now?
Not much time to prep before it's time to start the show.
Oh!
Guests are arriving.
Cure of the what now?
Everybody's smiling.
Cure of the what now?
A tasty party starting. Now it's time to go. Woo!
Ooh, served hot and fresh.
Itadakimasu. Hello, fellow dreamers and doers, and welcome to
Episode 12 of Cure of the What Now? Yum.
the one show where we know dreams are a good thing to have.
Yes,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yep, that's all. Dreams
It's like
are good.
Aerosmith said, dream on.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. And if you don't dream on, then you end up like Bassdrum.
Yeah.
And who wants to be Bassdrum? He is pretty big and beefy.
I was about to say,
Anyway.
I think that he would qualify as a bear if he were a member of the gay community.
I don't want to get too distracted by Bassdrum's beefiness.
Girths?
Oh, goodness gracious. Starting off on a great move. Do you know who I am?
No, I don't. Why don't you tell me?
I am the motherfucking host of the show, Kat. And James, that one welder guy, said he liked my cursing, so you don't get to say anything to stop me.
I don't get to say anything to stop me, but I, Joel, the co-host and editor of the podcast, can simply tell you...
Welcome to the show, folks. No news or announcements this week, so we are going to go straight into that sizzling, slippery discussion question. Joel, hit me with the sauce.
Okay, that was a very energetic and unique way of introducing us to the discussion question. Oh, I have one that I wanted to ask last week, and then you reminded me about Mother's Day. But now I realize that Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness just came out. So
Why don't you present both, and we'll pick?
Oh, okay. The Doctor Strange one would be pitch me a PreCure season that involves, like, parallel universes in some way, shape, or form. And then the other one is pitch a season where the evil generals, the first three that show up, maybe there could be a secret fourth one later, but one represents the air, one represents the land, and one represents the sea.
Ooh. I like elements, but I'm going to say let's do Doctor Strange.
Yeah, it's
that's
topical.
timely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and we'll do elements next week. So here's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
The PreCure are as regular people, right? Before they become PreCure, weird stuff keeps happening in their town. There'll be these big holes in the air, and monsters and stuff come through, and nobody knows what's happening. Every once in a while, a brightly colored girl also comes through and fights the monsters and pushes them back. Kind of like Happiness Charge. We're sort of doing a Happiness Charge here.
Okay.
So they're aware that PreCure exist and are possible, but it is not until a fairy comes through and bumps into the main character that PreCure exist in this universe. And so what she finds out is that the forces of darkness, or whatever you want to call them, have taken over the entirety of one universe and are trying to subsume other universes into them. And the PreCure are fighting to stop this.
I like that. I like that a lot. A couple of ideas that came to mind as you were talking for me, not necessarily directly related to what you're saying. It'd be interesting if the main cure ran into what would be like the most powerful PreCure in all of the multiverse, but she doesn't get a good look at this other girl, and so she spends a lot of time looking for this person and trying to like learn from her, and maybe in like the mid-season when all hope is lost, she shows up again, saves the day, and she's just like, good work, and then she flies off again, and she's like, no, I wanted to... I'm using a lot of she pronouns, but you know what I mean. Our main character would be like, I wanted to talk to you and get your autograph, and you could set up a plot twist where at the very end it turns out that the most powerful magical girl is just her from another universe who's already at the end of her journey.
Oh, I like that. That's so fun. You'd also, of course, want to have some multi-universal travel, because who doesn't love that part of exploring the multiverse?
Well, see, and I think that, yes, not to give away my opinion on Doctor Strange 2, but I think that there should have been more multiverse hopping and more, like, strange new worlds, and so I don't think every episode should be you go to another universe, but I think it should be Like 1 out of every 3 at minimum should be they go to like a weird techno universe, they go to a dinosaur universe or something.
Spoilers here. Plug your ears for 30 seconds. Are you telling me you didn't like New York but better because he wasn't there?
It was New York but better because Reed Richards was there. I'm almost positive.
Okay. Can you imagine, It's a Wonderful Life, but then the spirit takes him on this journey to see how the world is different, and the world is just significantly better without him around.
There is no cancer for some reason. He's just like, I'm not even related to that.
He was making everybody miserable.
Oh my gosh. Johnny Bravo actually did that, apparently. Everyone's lives was better, but there was one specific hair product that only he bought that went out of business, and so he decided he had to live to keep that business in business.
Cool.
Yeah. The other thing I think, too, is you could have it be like that season of My Little Pony where the map told people to go places and they weren't sure, like, what was happening there. You could have, like, some kind of, like, sci-fi device that opens portals, but they don't know where the portals lead. That actually might be Stargate as well. But they go and they have to investigate and they have to figure out.
It wouldn't be a sci-fi device. It would be like a ring that glows and then they can draw a circle in the air with it.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Also, every time they go to an alternate universe, it is my rule as director, if I were directing this, that they have to meet at least one other PreCure that is not just an alternate version of them. They can run into alternate versions of themselves, but there also has to be like a momentary bonus cure just for that episode. They go to Dino World and there's like Cure Cave Woman or something.
I was gonna say, what if they meet a PreCure who's just like a cat in a tiara?
I love that.
This cat can talk as a PreCure, but not as a cat. So once it unhensions, it just goes back to licking itself. I also think that the MacGuffin, the collectible for this season would be individual spools of thread, and they'd each be like a different color.
Oh.
And it would be symbolic of like the ties that bind us, kind of like the red string of fate, but also there'd be a big dramatic like PreCure needle where they can sew the rifts closed.
Okay. I really like that. The bad guys are once again boomers, because why wouldn't they be? And it is people who have gotten to the age where their children have left the house and don't call very often. And these kids not only moved out of town, moved out of state, they moved to another dimension. So the boomers are trying to chase them and be like, return your calls! I got some letters that I need to give to you!
Oh no! No!
But this actually sets up a redemption arc in the final arc of the season when the PreCure have to go to the evil dimension or whatever, and they bring all of the bonus cures from all of the other episodes, of course, to make brief cameos. But they find the children, and it turns out that there is some like miscommunication. Like the parents feel like their children left and never called back, and the children felt like they weren't allowed to live their lives under the shadow of their parents. And so you could have a reunion, and this could be one of those the villains were human all along sort of situations, rather than they're pure evil and need to be obliterated sort of story.
No, I love that. That would be very sweet. I would also want them to have a member of the team who was from another universe, and you could have the emotional, you have to go back to yours, but we'll miss you, because everything needs to be put back to the way it should be.
But then plot twist. After the rift are closed and the girls are sitting around eating ice cream or whatever whatever this series is, Star Donuts is, they see someone in the distance. And it's the girl with the same hair, but it's that girl from their universe, and they go befriend her.
That makes me happy. Maybe her arc was that she didn't believe in friendship, and they taught her what friendship could be. So they see this other girl, and they're like, "She's lonely, friend."
My magical PreCure.
That was a great discussion question.
Yes.
I gotta be frank. I gotta be forthright. I gotta be honest.
You're not gonna be Jim or Jeff or Dale.
No, I'll be Frank if you be Ernest.
Okay, absolutely.
All right, so Ernest, I don't know what happened in these episodes. Can you succinctly perhaps summarize for me just everything we watched this week, and we'll discuss them one at a time?
Oh my goodness. Absolutely. Really quick. I want to propose this, and I should have talked to you before we started the episode. I think I want one section where we talk about what we're going to watch for next week's episode, instead of at the end of the Delicious Party say next week we'll be covering. Okay. So this week what we'll be covering is Sweet 32 and 33, Delicious Party 9, and Max Heart 9. Next week, we'll be covering Max Heart 10, the first Max Heart movie. I guess Max Heart has two. We'll be covering Sweet 33 and 34. No, this week we covered 32 and 33. So next week it'll be 34 and 35.
You can count.
Yes. And we'll also be covering the All-Stars DX3 movie. I don't have the information pulled up in front of me, but we'll be watching that and covering it. And then also Delicious Party 10. So next week, we have a full-course meal to cover.
Delicious.
Absolutely.
Is that a freshly picked movie? It's an all-stars movie, which means my Fresh girls are going to be in it.
Yeah, absolutely. The Fresh girls, the Max Heart girls are going to be there for some reason. Heartcatch will be there.
Girls.
And then also the girls that we don't know, the Yes PreCure 5 girls.
Yeah. Yes, PreCure 5, go, go!
I love your enthusiasm. I don't know the theme songs of seasons that I haven't watched yet, unfortunately.
That was about all I know of that theme song. So one of the only ways I can motivate myself to do anything is to listen to anime themes and pretend that, you know, I'm somebody doing something important. So when I run, I often listen to a medley that is all the PreCure theme songs, which is great because it motivates me to run very, very quickly. But it's not so great in that sometimes I will be singing one theme song and then I automatically slide into another because I don't actually know the songs in isolation. I just know how they connect in this medley. It's kind of like how some songs I only know from Weird Al's Polka.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Anyways, you wanted some succinct summaries delivered hot and fresh to your door in 30 minutes or less.
Please.
All right. Max Heart 9, basically nothing happened. We get introduced to a new heartiel, except we don't learn her name and she doesn't actually meet the other characters, but we see her and she exists for next episode, as well as we meet a new general who has like a weird name. I think it's like Viblis or something. She's the token lady character. Hooray! And also Honeka's parents are visiting, and that's really emotional, except for the fact that we only see them twice in 100 episodes of content. In Delicious Party, Ran and Kokone don't necessarily get along. Ran's kind of like a party girl. She's like, woo, Kokone, let's go out drinking. And Kokone's like, Ran, please, I am studying for the bar exam. I will be a lawyer. This will make or break my career.
Yeah, they're not explicitly fighting, but they just aren't lining up.
Yeah, exactly. Ran feels like she's being a little bit too talkative and a little too pushy, and Kokone feels like she's partially being ignored. And then in Sweet, we had 2 episodes. In the first one, there's a, what do you call them? A flea market. And the negatone, or not the negatones, the minor trio decide that they're going to take the healing chest, and they do that by dressing up as women. It's very funny, haha. They rock those outfits, I'm not gonna lie.
Particularly falsetto, and like, is anyone surprised?
Absolutely. But they take the chest, and then the girls save the day. Honestly, I'm having a little hard time remembering some of the details of that particular episode. But at the end, Kiora Muse gets the healing chest, and she's like, okay, I'm going to drop it off near the fountain. And then at the very end of the episode, Akko is seen with it, and she's like, oh yeah, I found this by the fountain. But it seems a little suspicious, a little bit. We'll talk about that more in a second. And in episode 33, still count, I still got it. In episode 33, there's some competitions going on. One's a sweets baking competition that Kanade has entered in, and one of them is a piano playing competition that Hibiki has entered in. This episode's about Hibiki and her relationship with her dad. She gets nervous playing piano in front of him because of that one time that he told her that she wasn't shit, and she wants to prove that she is shit.
I love that. I love that you ain't shit means you're not good, but your shit means you're not good.
Yes, absolutely. But so Hibiki's nervous about playing in this competition, and various people try to cheer her up, and this episode's actually about, like, dreams for the future, and Ellen discovers that her dream is protecting the dreams of the other girls, and Bassdrum realizes that his dream is crushing the dreams of other people who want to protect the dreams of other people.
I don't know, man. That sounds like some maidenless behavior to me.
You're telling me that Bassdrum just needs to find someone and settle down with them and he'll just, like, chill out?
Yeah, like, this whole season, he's been watching Falsetto and the other one walk around being married. Thank you, Baritone. And he doesn't have anybody. He thought for a while maybe he and Ellen, but then Ellen went off to be a PreCure. When will it be his time to have a partner?
Not only did Ellen run off to become a PreCure, but also she's in love with these two other girls.
Yeah,
and,
she joined the polycule.
One last thing that is not really relevant to this episode, but will be relevant next week, I'm sure of it, is that Mephisto told the minor trio, like, you guys are not delivering results, I will fire you. And they're like, you can't fire us, we're part of a union. And he goes, oh, I'll destroy the union too. And so...
he even interrupted them on their union-mandated 15-minute break.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, he is not following labor laws at all.
But... could you imagine if a PreCure villain was taken down, like, in a legal system rather than, like, in a battle?
I love the idea of Ace Attorney PreCure.
But anyways, at the end of the episode, Mephisto goes, all right, I guess I'll have to do this. Kind of like how Thanos did at the end of, I can't remember which one that was. That might have been the first Avengers, or it might have been the second. Or it might have been one of the Guardians of the Galaxies, actually. Anyways, those have been your succinct summaries!
That was fantastic. I'm going to ask you this question.
Uh-oh.
What was your favorite from the different shows that we watched this week? What did you have the most fun watching?
I absolutely loved the flea market episode of Sweet.
So let's kick off our discussion with Sweet. What did you like about it?
So... there's a certain expression that anime makes a lot, and especially PreCure does, and I don't know exactly what emotion I would attribute to it, but at one point, Ellen makes a bunny, and I'm almost positive that that's kind of a subtle nod to Fresh PreCure, because Momo had her bunny that she sold at, like, a flea market or whatever, but this young girl comes up, and Ellen sells her, or gives her, I don't know, but gives her this bunny. And then the bunny turns into a negatone, and the PreCure have to be like, no, we're not hurting your bunny, we're trying to bring it back to the way it was before. And at the end of the battle, in their PreCure forms, they're like, here's your bunny back, and he goes, thanks. And Ellen, who is now Cure Beat, goes, oh, I'm so glad that it brought you joy, this bunny that I made by my own hand. And the other two have to be like, shut up, she's not supposed to know that those two people are the same people. And I really like that moment.
It was cute. I love it when they do the little dot eye blank expression.
Yes, exactly.
So
there was a part where Cure Muse stole the healing chest when the minor trio were, like, looking the other way or something. So when they go to open it, there's, like, this little, like, blah, 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 like Jack-in-the-Box thing that comes out that's like, I stole it from you. So that was funny.
Yes, no, that was really good. So Akko is heavily implied to be connected to Cure Muse in some way. She returns the healing chest when they finish beating the bad guys and discover they've got a fake healing chest. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting.
Yep.
I have a theory based on this idea that Akko could be Cure Muse. Are you ready for it?
I think so.
We know that Akko has weirdness about parents. We've seen her, like, be sad when parents are mentioned. We know that we've never seen her parents. We've just seen her in relation to Otokichi. I think that Mephisto is her dad. They both have red hair. Mephisto has the shells that create the sound of evil, so clearly something corrupted him at some point. And I think that this next episode, when he finally shows up to fight the PreCure himself, is kind of going to be the moment when Muse really reveals herself.
Yeah, and, like, it's interesting because if you watch the episodes and you're paying attention to patterns or whatever, Muse shows up for a little while and there's some mystery about who she is, and then she basically says, I'll tell you who I am later, and then she sort of disappears from the story for a little while, and then we focus on Ellen for a bit. And then she sort of comes back a little bit more for a couple of episodes when the girls are learning how to, like, harmonize with each other, and she's seeing the new attack that they have where they get absorbed inside of the sound tone or whatever it is. And so the fact that she's showing up now again makes me feel like it's time to progress to the next part of her story. And the fact that it coincides with Mephisto showing up Yeah, we're definitely in the end game now, so I'm guessing that either she is related to Mephisto, or Mephisto is going to be so strong that they're going to be unable to beat him and his negatones without the help of a fourth cure, and that's when Muse is going to kind of have to, like, join the team officially.
Could be, absolutely. I'm also seeing a note here that you know Cure Muse's secret identity.
I do, yes. So what do we know about Cure Muse in several of the episodes that she's appeared in?
She can't talk.
She can't talk. She doesn't really help a lot. Sometimes she does, but when she does, she's basically unbeatable. She's super resourceful. We saw her when she was fighting the car monster use like a stop sign to make it like kind of stop in its tracks.
That was so cool.
And we know that she has a penchant for standing on top of really tall things all alone with her cape billowing behind her. Cure Muse is Bruce Wayne.
Oh my god, you've blown this whole thing wide open.
Absolutely.
I guess maybe Bruce Wayne saw Batman and thought, I want to be like that.
Yeah, exactly. So Bruce Wayne dressed himself up as Cure Muse because, you know, he has a song in his heart that, you know, hides beneath the rich philanthropist billionaire act.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm on board with this. Okay. Is there anything else? Oh, actually, there's something else I wanted to point out about this episode. Cure Muse is standing watching the battle. She's got the healing test and the crescendo...
Healing test. If you pass this question, you will be healed.
You know, I was going to correct myself, but you're pretty funny. So anyway, she's got the chest and the crescendo tone opens up and says, Cure Muse, the time is coming to reveal yourself soon.
Yeah.
And we find out that she secretly cares about the PreCure and wants to protect them. I didn't really get that vibe at all, but maybe they'll explain it more in her next episode.
You know, it's interesting because we have this idea of Cure Muse has some kind of dream, some kind of goal she's aiming towards. She's neither on the side of the PreCure nor on the side of the minor trio or minor land or whatever the case may be. We know that she will reveal her identity when the time is right, and we know that Odakichi will finish the grand piano in time for something. So there must be some point in the future where it's like, this is the moment when history could change one way or the other, and that's when we're going to get everything tied up in a bow. We'll find out what's the deal with Mephisto's ear jewelry. We'll find out what Muse's not only identity, but what her goal is. And we'll figure out what Odakichi's goal is as well, and I'm sure it's all connected.
Yeah, it all comes together in one.
Also, so we've been hypothesizing that Mephisto is being controlled by someone. He has the noise of evil Beats by Dre in his ears. He seems really upset by the healing chest. He keeps being like, you need to get that healing chest now. Like, you thought Giovanni was obsessed with Pikachu, but he's more obsessed with the healing chest. So here's my thought. If he's being controlled by some kind of unknown entity, I'll just call it the Puppet Master, maybe the reason that Mephisto's so afraid of the healing chest, it's called the healing chest, maybe it can break the spell on Mephisto and return him to being a regular dude.
Yeah, because what is the sound of evil? It's a sound. The crescendo tone is the mother of all sounds, so she could just make a sound that undoes the sound that's in his ears that's the sound.
She just plays the noise of evil in reverse and that sort of thing.
Do you think the crescendo tone is also the mother of the sound of silence? Because that's not really a sound, is it?
No. Here, I'm going to assume that based off of the way that we've seen Sweet talk about sounds, that the beginning of the universe before, you know, the Big Bang or whatever, it was all silence, and then she created noise, and that's what set the universe into motion. So I think that she did not create the sound of silence.
Okay, fair enough. Episode 33.
Yes.
Of Sweet Sweet PreCure. I was kind of lukewarm on this episode. Like, I didn't think it was bad, and I thought that Kanade encouraging Hibiki to face her fear because it was important that it not stand in the way of her dream. I thought all that was cute. But, like, it's just a pretty standard PreCure episode. Dreams are important.
I really like, so Kanade thinks that she wants to bake cakes because her dad taught her how to make sweets or whatever, and she's like, oh, I want to do that too. And we do officially find out in this episode, I think they've hinted at it before, but Kanade definitely wants to grow up and join the Cura Patissier, right, and make sweets for a living. And we find out that Hibiki's dream really is to become a pianist. I think they hinted at that in the episode with her mom. But they're entering these competitions and it's an important step forward in their dreams. But what's interesting is that it's not, the episode's both simultaneously about their dreams, but also about Hibiki's weird hangups about her dad. And Kanade realizes she doesn't want to make sweets because her dad taught her to make sweets. She wants to make sweets because she wants to make other people happy. So she makes a special cake for Hibiki, and Hibiki, who's been kind of depressed all episode, she cheers up, and Kanade goes, yes, that's my Hibiki, while pointing at her. God, the sapphic vibes are just so strong with these two.
Yeah. I kind of get why this is the favorite of a lot of PreCure fans, honestly. Like, their relationship is just so strong.
I thought I heard somewhere, I think I've told this story multiple times on this podcast, but I thought I heard somewhere someone say that they really liked the series up until a certain point, and then they felt it went downhill. And I think we're past that point. But it feels great to me. I really enjoy the story.
I actually feel like it's gotten better since Ellen joined the team.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that there's a lot of interesting dynamics between the various characters and whatnot.
Absolutely. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about this episode?
We have a line from Odakichi, which is, with every sigh, a bit of happiness runs away. This is... Ellen is kind of sitting on her own. Oh, Ellen is Batman. But she's sitting on her own at night, and she's kind of, like, contemplative, and this is after the other two girls are talking about their dreams. And Ellen's basically like, hey, I don't know what my dream is. And Odakichi goes, well, if you don't have a dream, you can kind of just pick one right now. Like, if you didn't have one 2 minutes ago, now's a perfect time to figure out what your dream is. And also, you can also kind of figure it out based off of, like, what you're good at or what you enjoy doing. And Ellen kind of thinks back, and they don't do an explicit montage, but she's been really good at protecting Hami and the other two PreCure from the Minor Trio and Minor Land. And so by the end of this episode, she realized that her dream, as I mentioned before, is protecting the dreams of the other two girls. I don't know how that's going to translate at the end of the season, when maybe she has to go back to Minor Land or Major Land, or if she stays in the human world and the PreCure no longer PreCure. But, you know, I could see her being like a guidance counselor or a teacher or something like that. I think that would fit.
Absolutely. I would like that a lot for her.
Also, can we just point out Odakichi is a great dad to Ellen? Like,
he is. I love that he was like, parentless child.
Mine.
Yeah. It's very grandpa behavior.
It is.
You know?
Grandpa behavior on Maine, is that how you would say it?
Yeah, exactly. On to Delicious Party. Like you said, this episode was about Kokone and Ran kind of learning to be buddies. Mm-hmm. I feel like we lost a lot due to the leak in the hack or whatever.
Yes.
So for example, Ram gets her cup in this episode, but she and Mari haven't really had a moment. It was just like, oh yeah, I should give her a cup. Mm-hmm. You told the other two this was a sign of great friendship between you. You only just met her. But I get it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we didn't lose anything more plotchily relevant.
Yeah, my guess is that if they have a plan or a general plan, maybe they have the specifics down, but if they know how they want the season to end, they don't want to have to cut out episode 3 of a 5-part series that builds up to the climax of the final battle. And so it would be much better to kind of rush some of the stuff early on in the season. And some of it's kind of obvious. Like, you saw the episode of Yui getting a glass, and you saw the episode of Kokone getting the glass, so you really... It would be nice to have a Mary-centric episode, but you can also just say, you get it. Like, once Mary has spent enough time with them, he gives them the glass or whatever.
Absolutely. I will say, the scene where Amane is coming through Gentle during the fight is super cool.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So my theory is that something about recognizing these girls as schoolmates is, like, triggering her. And I'm really curious how that's kind of going to play out. That's another thing that maybe they wanted to take more time on and they're rushing a little bit. That said, we got introduced to the third member of the Boondaroo gang, and he is handsome. He is an asshole, and I love him.
Following the pattern of the other... Well, actually, Gentle's name doesn't really fit the pattern that we're starting to see. The two higher-ups, I guess you would call them, are named Secretoru, the woman we've already met, and now we have Narsatoru, who's narcissist or whatever. And he seems to be a genius, self-proclaimed, who seems to have inventions. And he says something about... the puppet's usefulness is running out. I didn't write down the exact wording, but something along that lines. So obviously, Amane and Gentle are some kind of science experiment. a la Rio from Kira Kira, and she's not really part of the group. She's sort of a useful pawn.
Do you think they needed her because she is from Oshina Town and they thought it would be easier for her to find delicious food?
I have no idea. It might be something about they can't, like, leave the Boondaroo hideout or something. Maybe the air of Earth is toxic or something. Maybe their time is better spent in research and development, coming up with new products that they can sell to the masses. But there's something more going on, and I'm curious what it is. It might not be that they needed Gentle for getting the rest of PPs. It might be that they have it might be that Narsatoru needs to perfect his device, and the only way to perfect it is to have at least one experiment in its incomplete form.
Oh, okay.
So his actual goal is finishing whatever thing he's going to use maybe next episode or whatever.
Yes. Fix the machine! Imagine him trying to talk to Yui with a puppet.
With a sock puppet?
And Yui's like, how old do you think I am?
I don't know.
6?
with the cybernetic implants, it's hard to tell age or something like that. So, really quick, 3 weeks ago, whenever Ran made her debut, or Yum Yum made her debut, you asked me what her post-henshin phrase, and I looked it up on the wiki, and I was like, oh, it's this. And you're like, yeah, I guess that was it. And then afterwards, we realized, oh, crap, didn't she have an even funnier moment? So, let me clarify for anyone at home who hasn't noticed the pattern. You're all very beautiful and smart, I'm sure you noticed, but just so I can correct my own mistakes, they kind of have two henshin phrases, one before they introduce themselves as Cure Precious, Yum Yum, or Spicy, and then they have another one where they do their pose, and that's the end of the transformation. So for Precious, she has brimming with energy from piping hot rice. Cure Precious, I'll fill you up with a delicious smile.
That's cute.
Very cute. Very, very Yui, right? Spicy is with a dainty sandwich spice for your heart, which is still a weird phrase. Cure Spicy, you won't forget the shared tastiness.
That's creepy.
It sounds like it's a euphemism or a metaphor for something else. Or like, yeah, it's a veiled threat. I'll show you shared tastiness, she says, making a fist and shaking it. Okay, but Yum Yums is Sparkling Noodle Emotion.
Sparkling Noodle Emotion.
Which is a great band name. Cure Yum Yum, I won't let you hog all the great stuff.
Of all of them, do you think Cure Yum Yum is the most likely to get lost in the sauce?
I think so, yes, absolutely. So yeah, Sparkling Noodle Emotion, that was the phrase of the day that we forgot to mention.
I will say, I do feel sparkling noodle emotion when I eat ramen, so maybe she's on to something.
Okay.
I don't feel spice for my heart with a dainty sandwich.
Yes, well, and like, I don't... Spicy's / Kokone's is intentionally a sort of like a, juxtaposition. It's contrasting two opposing things, and so I think that like dainty is like how she presents, but spicy is like how she wants to act or something like that. Or her ideal self is spiciness.
Okay,
but it's just it's a little strange, you know. To me, I think that hers is the one that connects with me the least in my heart.
Agreed.
This episode was amazing for facial expressions and memes and stuff like that. There's a part where Ran and Kokone are arguing. It's not quite to the point of like a full-on like yelling argument, but Yui just has this like Bugs Bunny uninterested in what's going on kind of expression on her face as she's just like eating her snacks while they kind of like increase in frustration. So that was just very good. Ran has a couple of over-the-top emotional moments as well.
Ran has the best faces. She really is the meme queen for this season. There's also a pretty funny moment where, like you said, Yui's kind of oblivious to what's happening, and then Pam Pam and the dragon pull her aside. Mem, thank you. They pull her aside, and they're like, you have to help us. They don't know how to be friends, please. And she goes, okay. The best way to get two people to get along is to give them a baby. So she just hands him Kome
Kome.
She just hands him Kome Kome and is like, bye!
Yeah. And we get confirmation that Ran has plenty of younger children, and so she is really good with them and that sort of a thing.
Yeah, younger siblings.
Yes. What did I say?
Younger children.
Oh.
I'm just amused by her being like a mom in middle school to like 5 kids. Kokone is every bit the helicopter parent you would expect a rich, uncertain person to be. So that was pretty funny. Kome Kome evolved into her next form, and now she can talk a little bit.
Yeah, she does the kind of the toddler speak of sometimes getting some of the syllables slightly off, but
like
yeah.
Fua or yeah.
Cool. Do you think by the end of the season she'll just be like a full-on just like adult? She'll have surpassed Yui and Kokone in age?
What if they're leading us to think that we'll get Gentle as the mid-season cure, but then instead we get Kome Kome?
Okay. I feel like that would be kind of letting the other two energy fairies out of the equation, you know? Like, I wonder if they're
they also don't have any desire to be people.
Maybe, yeah, absolutely.
Because Pam Pam said Kome Kome wanted to be more like Yui, so she turned into a person. But I think Pam Pam is perfectly satisfied being Pam Pam.
Yeah, and I don't think Mem Mem has any ambitions in life at all, you know?
Why would I want to be a human? You have to clean your buttholes.
Dogs do that all the time, Pam Pam. Anyways.
Yeah, but not with paper. Paper's
That's true.
for chewing on, you freak.
You know what? Absolutely. I hadn't considered it like that. So, do you think next episode we will get Gentle breaking 100%, or?
I think we've got maybe 3 more episodes.
Okay.
Of the teasing. Maybe 2. I think that we're going to get a couple more episodes, then Gentle will break, then we'll get a couple of episodes, then Tuxedo Mask will join the team, and then whatever happens with Gentle will happen. You see what, or Amane, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and plus we've seen, we can talk about predictions in a moment, but the next episode, if it was about Gentle turning or leaving the team, the Bundaru gang, you'd think that the episode title would allude to that in some way. I'm expecting that Narsatoru will show up and he will explicitly say something about, like, that girl's just a pawn or just a puppet or whatever. And then the girls are like, okay. And then the next episode will be them trying to, like, give her a group hug or something, trying to reach out.
I like that. That would be cute. Do you have anything to say on Max Heart?
The only thing is that the new General Viblis or something like that, she is the token woman, but she actually has short hair, which is kind of cool. You know, most of the villainous women have long, traditional feminine beauty kind of figures.
Yeah, she's not the over-sexualized female villain.
Mm-hmm. But no, that's literally all I have to say. This episode was a nothing burger, and I cannot wait till we're done with Max Heart.
We love this show. PreCure is wonderful. You should watch every season.
PreCure is wonderful. You should watch most every season. Anyways.
But start with Princess, because that's the best season.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. The next episode of Delicious Party PreCure is called Recipes Don't Cry, Birth of the Heart Juicy Mixer. Thank you, Toei, for continuing your tradition of spoiling things in the titles. F you.
Yeah. How would you... Okay, so what is the Heart Juicy Mixer, do you think?
It takes the Hoka Hoka hearts from around them.
Oh, and it starts shooting them and like fires them as guns?
It could. I was going to say it blends them all together and then makes a laser.
Oh.
So it's mixing the heart power of all the people who are enjoying tasty snacks.
Take this! My umami, my spicy, and all of my savory! PreCure laser!
That was a wonderful joke. I have to tell you, umami and savory are the same.
What?
Yeah, that's what umami means. It's like that meaty flavor.
Okay, so what are the 5 flavor profiles?
Sweet, salty, sour. That's it, and then umami. I don't think there's 5.
There's 5. I'm pretty sure. I think there were 4, and then they introduced a secret 5th one.
Sweet, salty, sour, spicy.
Ah, okay.
They're all S's, except for umami. That's because it's the Secret Ranger.
How
dare this season be about food and not have them each named after one of the basic tastes? You could have had a cure sweet, a cure spicy, a cure salty.
Yeah. Cure Salty is constantly getting upset that they nerf her favorite characters in video games.
What about Cure Sour? She's just unfriendly?
Just
as a general
She
rule.
has a tough outer shell that's hard to break through, absolutely.
Fantastic. And I think that is everything, unless you've got any final thoughts to throw at the wall.
No, that has been your doot final thought. Outro goes here. Thanks for listening, everyone, and don't forget to eat a hearty plate of rice. Yum yum.
Thank you all for joining us for another delicious plateful of
Cure of the What Now.
Please take a moment to rate and review wherever you get your podcasts from.
Or if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to leave a comment, a like, or lick that subscribe bell so you know when the new episodes are going up.
Did you just say lick it?
Well, yeah, we're baking delicious foods. It's a delicious party.
Anyway, you can find me on Twitter at PirateGhostHost. Please don't lick me.
Can you even lick a ghost? I'm on Twitter at Kotwin_pod.
KOTWN_pod.
Absolutely. And as always, the Discord link is in the Twitter bio and also in the YouTube description.
Come join us for weekly discussions, streams, and all of the PreCure your heart can handle. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yum. Or no, I'm full.